During the highly anticipated final battle between Grimmjow and Ichigo, the 6th Espada had transformed into a new form after having released his Zanpakuto, and Arrancar's Resurreccion is the manifestation of their true power and form. This entire process involves removing the seal of their powers that is contained within their blades. This results in a transformation that makes them physically resemble their prior hollow form before they are turned into humanoid Arrancars. Most Resurreccion forms give the Arrancar an animal-like form, and Grimmjow is no exception to this, as his released form called Pantera gives him a panther-like appearance. After having activated a Resurreccion, an Arrancar will experience an immense increase in their combat ability, their speed, stamina, and their overall spiritual power is also raised. Additionally, they are now able to use more powerful versions of their techniques, as well as demonstrating new abilities. All of this is possible thanks to the changes that they undergo after achieving this form. When they activate their Resurreccion forms, it transforms their arrancar reiatsu to that of a hollow's reiatsu, thus explaining why they resemble their pure hollow forms before they had become Arrancars. In this video, I will deep dive into Grimmjow's Resurreccion, and similar to how I spoke about Ulquiorra's second release, we will be discussing everything that there is to know about this form, talking about all of the enhancements that Grimmjow undergoes and how he uses this form during his final battle against Ichigo. So without further delay, let's dive into my breakdown and analysis of Grimmjow's Pantera form. Before the video begins, only 20% of the people who actually watch my content are subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy these videos, then subscribe and stick around for more content just like this. Now let's get back to the topic of the video. Grimmjow's Resurreccion is first revealed to us within chapter 281. He is able to transform into this form with the release command grind, which is in reference to a wild beast grinding its teeth. When transformed, he undergoes considerable physical change, as he begins to resemble a wild cat. His teeth become sharper and more jagged, with his hands and feet taking up the form of black claws. He also grows a tail that he uses to whip his opponents. Additionally, his hair grows longer in length and the markings under his eyes become larger. His signature hollow mask on his jaw now forms on his forehead, while his clothing becomes more fitted like a form of armor, along with sharp blades appearing on his calves and forearms. All of these changes in appearance make Grimmjow take up a form that is similar to his Adhucha's hollow form. He has several enhancements that he experiences after having activated his Resurreccion. The first is his increased speed, which matches the running speed of a wild cat. His movements also complement his newfound bestial form, as he starts to behave more feline-like. The improvements in his speed allow him to easily keep up with a hollowified Bankai Ichigo. He also gains more strength and power in his Resurreccion form, as demonstrated by how easily he was able to topple the towering pillars of Las Noches with his strikes. In chapter 281, he sends Ichigo hurtling through the air hundreds of feet away with a couple of simple attacks. Another key enhancement is his improved defenses. His Arrancar iron skin now allows him to take a hollowified Getsuga Tensha from Ichigo without being harmed by it. In addition to all of these improvements, he demonstrates several new abilities in his Pantera form. The first is his technique Sonic Wave, which is a power that he used before but is now improved in his release state. When he unleashes the attack, it causes several sonic waves to be created around him after he yells out. This ability does more to intimidate and throw off his opponents than to actually deal any damage to them. One of his signature abilities he uses during his final battle against Ichigo is Claw of the Panther. It allows him to fire 5 small high-speed projectile bombs from his elbow. One round of bombs is powerful enough to destroy the pillars of Las Noches. We see Ichigo protect Orihime and Nell from this ability in chapter 282. He was able to endure being hit by 5 of these dart-like bombs. One of his most powerful abilities that he uses is Desgaron, which translates to Rending Claw of the Panther King. This is an attack that literally intends to tear apart his opponents. When he activates the ability, his claws begin to glow, as Grimmjow makes a slashing motion in the air. With this single swipe, he unleashes 5 sharp blades made up of reishi that fire towards his target. He is able to fire up to 10 blades at his opponent if he decides to swipe both of his glowing claws. This is a long-ranged attack that he can fire with simple striking motions, as the resultant blades of reishi are incredibly powerful. This is seen scene when Ichigo struggles to barely deflect the attack through his immense willpower alone. When we do see Grimmjow again during the 1000-year Blood War arc, he demonstrates the ability to transform select parts of his body into his Resurreccion state. Like, he can change his claws into how they appear in his Pantera form, as seen in chapter 630. In chapter 281, after Ichigo dons his hollow mask, Grimmjow yells out as he wipes his hand across his Zanbakudo, saying the release command grind. This is just before he transforms into his newfound Pantera form. After a blast erupts, he emerges in his release state, which is illustrated by Kubo through this incredible double spread of Grimmjow that conveys the animalistic nature of this new form. Particular attention is drawn to his jagged sharp teeth as he yells out, unleashing a sonic wave shaking Ichigo up before he charges towards him. He then immediately jumps into the air and strikes him. Now this is what I was talking about, him having immense speed and strength enhancements, as he sends Ichigo straight through multiple pillars before intercepting him mid-air and kicking him up further into the air. He yet again cuts him off by appearing above him and smacking him down into the ground. When Ichigo emerges after the attack, he fires a holified Getsuga Tensho at him, but Grimmjow takes the attack, laughing it off, appearing unscathed after it. Reacting to Grimmjow's newfound transformation, Haribel's Frashion begin to express fear at how immense Grimmjow's reiatsu is now. The Espada notes how Ichigo is able to hold his hollow mask for a longer period of time, and when Ichigo begins to finally counter-attack Grimmjow, he kicks him, disrupting his flow. He is able to avoid all of Ichigo's attacks with incredible speed, as he finds the perfect opportunity to strike him into the ground. He charges at him, but Ichigo retaliates, managing to cut across his forearm as they clash once again. The Espada then fires his ability Claw of the Panther from his elbow, which sends 5 projectile bombs hurtling towards Orihime and Nell, but Ichigo manages to protect them by letting himself be hurt by the attack. At the start of chapter 283, he demonstrates how powerful the projectiles are as he fires one of them into a pillar behind him, which ends up completely destroying it. He comments on how he is surprised that Ichigo was able to take 5 of these and still remain standing. Now at this point in their battle, Ichigo seems like he is at his limit, and Grimmjow also appears to be tiring too. They continue to clash as Ichigo's hollow mask begins to break apart, as Grimmjow clearly has the upper hand. He beats him down to the point where it seems as though he has defeated him, but Ichigo is able to regain the will to fight after Orihime calls out to him. After she tells Ichigo not to die, he ends up intercepting Grimmjow's strike with his bare hand, and he cuts him down with a single strike. Just when it seems as though he has been defeated, Grimmjow stops himself from collapsing, as he asks if Ichigo had really thought that he had defeated him just now. He then impales Ichigo through the stomach, as he becomes frustrated by the look in Ichigo's eyes, who, despite having been beaten down for the majority of their battle, he feels like Ichigo's eyes are still looking down on him. He charges towards him as he begins to once again beat him down, declaring that anybody who looks down on him will be crushed. Appearing above Ichigo, he then uses his strongest attack, Desgaron, as both of his hands swipe down, creating 10 blades of Reishi. Ichigo is pushed back by the attack, but he regains his balance before deflecting it. Grimmjow then fires the attack once more as Ichigo fails to block it completely. It breaks through his defenses and strikes him, as Grimmjow begins to unleash his final barrage of attacks. He declares that he is the king, but Ichigo is able to cut through the blades of Reishi, shattering them, as he reaffirms his resolve to defeat anyone who stands in his way. He then impales Grimmjow and brings an end to their battle, as he returns to his normal form from his Pantera form in chapter 286. We see his armored skin pull back and his tail fades away, revealing his Zanbakudo once again, which had in fact disappeared once he had activated his Resurreccion. Grimmjow's Resurreccion is easily the wildest transformation in the entire series. It is only rivaled by the animalistic, bestial nature of holified Ichigo, which makes their feud fascinating to see unfold. Now all of the Espada, with the exception of Ulquiorra, have demonstrated one release state, but Ulquiorra had a further second released form. We had assumed that Ulquiorra was the only one capable of such a feat, but we learned through Kubo's fan club that this second Resurreccion is not exclusive to just Ulquiorra, because he was born special. In Club Outside, Kubo was asked if Grimmjow were to train, would it be possible for him to unlock a Segunda Etapa. Kubo confirms that it is possible for Grimmjow to attain the second Resurreccion if he actually trains for it. Now, while I am happy to learn about this, I feel like it takes away from the significance of Ulquiorra's transformation. After all, this is what made Ulquiorra feel like he was set apart from the other arrancars. It was because of the Segunda Etapa that I had concluded that while he was the 4th ranked Espada, he was in fact the strongest Espada in terms of raw power, and his ability to transform a second time was a key reason for me coming to this conclusion. Now, if you want to learn learn more information about Ulquiorra's second resurrection, I highly recommend you check out my explanation of that form. It explains what exactly the Segunda Etapa is through using the data books and the Can't For Your Own World light novels. So now we have reached the point of the video where I want to hand over the discussion to all of you. What did you think about Grimmjow's resurrection? Did you find it to be a satisfactory transformation, or were you expecting more from it? Also, what are your thoughts about the possibility of Grimmjow being able to activate his own second resurrection? Do you think he will return in the Hell arc of the Bleach manga to help Ichigo and the others like he did during the 1000-year Blood War arc, and he will reveal his second release? I look forward to reading all of your speculation and your thoughts on this incredible animalistic form. And lastly, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I can't wait to see you in my next Bleach Explained video. If you enjoy my content, then you can support my channel through Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or even through YouTube by becoming a channel member. You will gain access to exclusive channel perks and a Discord server which I frequently use. So become a member of my Zero Division and be the first to know about my upcoming videos. And once again, thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.